Your systems and processes is how you file the lead, how you inspect the roof, what pictures do you take, how does the build process go, how does your contract work, how you go over the contract, like all those types of things.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Hook Better Leads podcast. And today I'm talking to Todd Price, talking about how he scaled his business to over 300 million, Todd?
Right at, when I left, we were at like 280, something like that.
So not even a guy who couldn't even get his business to 300 million. So don't even listen to this podcast if you don't want to learn, if you need to learn how to go to 300, because he doesn't know how.
I don't have it.
All right, well, we're going to talk about growing. We're going to talk about reasons you're not growing, biggest unlocks to growing fast, personal habits, why most roofing business coaches suck, and how you can do better. So, Todd, it's been a second since I talked to you. It's incredible to watch your guys' journey. You and Raymond and the whole team over there obviously busted your asses to get where you went, but give us a little mini version of the backstory for the last few years. What happened?
You want from the private equity side, or you want from like ground?
Yeah, I think the last time I talked to you, like you and Raymond were like hitting that, like you just got on private equity, but it was a pretty meteoric rise from that too, right? You guys, I think you got like 70 million or something when I was chatting with you guys, and up to 300.
That's about when we sold, and it was a crazy ride, man. Like, and it was I learned a lot too from that process. And it took me, like going through that process itself, I think has helped me as a coach. But when meeting with these guys, all these different private equity companies that I would meet with, because I was the one that was sitting down and talking to them and interviewing them. And at that point, I thought I had to sell them, so to speak. And like, now I see the private equity companies and I see the how they're reacting, and like, you really don't have to sell yourself. They want to buy you just as bad as you want to be bought. Like, and there's no, magic number. You don't have to be at 70 million or 100 million, or like I've seen companies get bought at 5 million, at 10 million. Like, if it makes sense to certain companies based off logistics, then it makes sense. But, so going through this, I learned a lot, and the, not only on the back office side of things, but also what they look for from a larger scale, not only growing, like greenfielding new areas, but also from acquiring other companies. And it's a game of risk, so to speak, of what they play. Like, so, a lot of people want to look at, like, I'm doing this much, or we have this much EBITDA and we're doing this, but like, they don't look at the risks involved at all, and I don't blame them. I was one of those people, but they also don't know exactly what the risks are. Like, they don't know the issues that come with EEOC or Department of Labor, or, or Department of Insurance. Like, you have to think about this broad spectrum of what could go wrong, what could happen or transpire, things of that nature. So
how much of the money, sorry to interrupt, I apologize.
You're good.
You can finish.
No, that was it. You're good.
How much of the money that you guys were doing of that 280 when you left was like from the original location, and then how much was added on from other like companies you guys bought?
So it was about 60 from perimeter.
Yep. And
then obviously we continued to grow and like greenfield other spaces.
Yeah.
The next company we bought, I think, was doing maybe 15-ish. Okay. And then, but it made sense based off the location. Then we acquired a company out in Texas that we were very familiar with and had connections with. And I want to say they were maybe doing 25 or 30. Okay. And then just continued to grow from there. We just recently acquired 3 more in the past, I would say 4 to 6 months.
Yeah. Lots of acquisitions, it's a real roll up. And I mean, I watched you guys like, and I spent like 2 days with Raymond. I mean, I watched him mentoring other business owners, spending time on the phone with them. It was cool. And then those ones, I was like watching it happen. They're like, then those ones got bought, right? It was cool because it was like a cool little, like he'd been helping them for years, and then it just happened to be a great fit.
Yeah, we're already kind of doing things the way, we were doing them anyway. They fit our model, so to speak.
Exactly. So you can kind of like mentor people into being a great fit for a roll-up.
Automate your communication with Proline, the only communication-first CRM for roofers. Because when you fix your communication, you'll sell more jobs.
We had 200% growth, and I attribute that to Proline.
But just with one automation, I was able to get 25 Google reviews.
Proline's not going to win the beauty pageant, but it will save your Saturday.
Let's start with value to our audience here. A lot of $3 to $15 million roofing companies in here, a few bigger ones watching, listening. I guess there's a lot of new ones too, but what are 3 reasons people aren't growing? You're mentoring a lot of people now. You're talking to them now. You don't have necessarily a reason to roll them up or anything at this point, but you're helping people, and that's kind of your new business. What are 3 reasons people aren't growing when you see the top reasons?
It's a multitude of different things. I think one of the biggest things is that people have a small mindset. They don't think big, and so therefore they're not willing to go after bigger things. A lot of people just by nature, whether it's fear of going after the bigger thing, not knowing how to go after the bigger thing, or just becoming content. I'm doing 10 million and I'm good here, and I make good money and I work great at and that's fine. There's people like that, I think another thing is the marketing aspect and knowing how to market, and a lot of people, they look at marketing strictly as like SEO, websites, Google guarantee, and they don't think outside the box of other ways to market and making connections and networking. And, I would say out of that ballpark, we'll just call it 300 million, like out of that ballpark, I would say probably 2/3 of that came from Facebook and realtors that we worked with and developed relationships with. And that was kind of a niche that we had and created. So that was one big thing. And then I think a lot of people, they also get stuck in the way they do things. So, I teach a lot on systems and processes, and having systems and processes and having them all written down. Like, it's very, very important to not only know them inside and out, but have them written down and have them very detailed as far and not just your steps. Like I last stage I was speaking on, I asked, in a general question, like, what are your systems and processes? And somebody raised their hand, and I called on them, and they walked me through the steps of the process. Like, all right, I have a lead, or I'm going to knock on a door, and then I'm going to inspect the roof, and then I'm going to come down, show them pictures, and file the claim. And I'm like, that's your steps. That's not your systems and processes. Your systems and processes is how you file the lead, how you inspect the roof, what pictures do you take, how does the build process go, how does your contract work, how you go over the contract, like all those types of things, and down to like very, very clear cut to where if my mom doesn't know anything about roofing, I don't know about your mom, but if our moms were to read it, they would know exactly, all right, this is what we have to do here, step-by-step directions. And a lot of people, don't have that, so they're not teaching things across the board the same way to every single person. Like, I don't want like when you were in kindergarten and you played telephone, and by the time it got to the 10th person, it was something different. I don't want to have that in the organization. I want every single person, no matter who takes a lead, knocks the door, goes to this adjustment, whatever, they have the same systems and processes, which one is important because it's your company standard, but two, it's important because then it guarantees that every customer is getting the same experience. It's just like, I'm at Starbucks now, but I'm looking at Chick-fil-A. I use Chick-fil-A a lot as an example, but if I walk in this Chick-fil-A, or if I go over to Texas or California, wherever, any Chick-fil-A across the country, it's going to be the same little goofy outfit, the same my pleasure, like Walker, can I get you anything? Like they have the same menu, same everything across the board. So it's got to be the same thing with all your guys too. And then also knowing when you hit a roadblock or, a bottleneck or whatever you want to call it, you have to switch those things up. And so many people don't switch those things up. They just think, well, I got to hire more people or I got to do that. Like, no, you have to figure out why are you bottlenecking right there? So like, me, I live in Atlanta. And so like our main interstate, one of our main interstates is 85. Well, 85 used to be a 2-lane. And as that was your system and process, it's still the same direction. It still got you everywhere you needed to go and did the job, so to speak. But as the company, Atlanta, grew, there were certain areas that would start to get bottlenecked. So they had to widen the road. They had to make it a 4-lane. And then same thing would happen again. So it's the same thing with business. So as you start coming across those bottlenecks in any certain area, and they're not all going to hit in your processes at the same time, you got to figure out, hey, I need to widen the road right here and make it a 4-lane or a 6-lane or whatever we have now, a 10-lane, 12-lane, who knows?
Yeah.
But that's kind of the best analogy I have for that.
I dig it. Give me 3 more of your biggest unlocks to growing fast, because what was surprising is, and this is crazy because there's a lot of people out there that aren't like super on social. I was just talking to my friend who's talking to the founder of DeBella, which is a huge company that just never, we don't hear about some of these companies,
Yeah.
right? And I think like you've done a pretty good job now of getting yourself out there, but like you weren't doing all. It's fun. It's just funny how the social media clout, some people pursue that before they pursue success. I heard a quote that's like, if you want to be a prophet king, first become a king, then become a prophet. And I think like you've been a good example. Now you're coming back and kind of sharing the info from all this work that you've done. Would love to just hear 3 more big unlocks that helped you guys grow fast instead of like, let's get to 10 million in the next couple of years. What's the unlock? Like even just to get to that 60, bring me like what your best chunky things were besides the ones you've already mentioned.
I think some of the biggest things were, God, I could probably go way more than 3 things, but I think some of the biggest things were making yourself known. Like whether you're just starting out, whether you're a $1 million company, $5 million company, 10, whatever, like you have to, which was something both me and Ray did a very good job of. And, and we always tried to make it fun too. I think I would tend to say that we were probably, at least in Georgia anyways, before I kind of became nationwide or started knowing roofers nationwide, like we didn't see anybody posting roofing on social media at all. Like it wasn't the cool thing to post. Now you see it all the time, but it wasn't the cool thing to post. And so I started posting it, and then it went from just inspections to like before and afters, and then to memes, and then to funny reels, and then to me talking live, and then to giveaway. Like, so I was always trying to like outdo everybody. I wanted to, like, if somebody started copying the memes that I was doing, I was like, all right, well, I need to come up with new ideas of stuff to post. But we would just flood Facebook with roofing content, whether it was funny, whether it was emotional, whether it was, knowledge-based, whatever, educational, whatever it may have been. And I think that's super important. A lot of people will post like once a week and they're like, man, I'm posting on Facebook. And I tell them like, hey, this isn't an ad. Like I'll use Chick-fil-A again, to where like I look at the sign and I smell the food and I get hungry and I want to go buy it. Roofing is different. Like they don't see the shingles and they're like, man, I want a new roof. Like that just doesn't happen. People normally,
I've seen some pretty good roofs before, man. Have you seen those F waves, dude?
I've seen those.
One of those, if I see another one of those, dude,
you're gonna get it.
I don't know, man. They just look so goddamn good. Have you seen those things, bro? They're crazy. Anyways, I know what you mean though.
But 99%, you're right. But 99% of people aren't going to see something and then go, man, I should drop X amount of money and get me a new roof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then if they do, who do I call? Is the other thing. Like, so you have to, I tell everybody, like, I don't care if you unfollow me because of it, if you like me because of it, don't like me because of it, whatever. you're going to know what I do at the end of the day, period. Like, you know, and it's the same thing with you with marketing. You're going to put it out there, and you got the Hook agency, and like everybody knows who you are and what you do. And it's like me, don't like me, I don't care. You know what I do though.
Yeah.
Same thing, we go across the board. We go across Dimitri. We could go with Lee Haight. We could go with all sorts of big names. I mentioned them because I watched one of Dimitri's videos today, and I'm also the one that introduced them when they fought. You know, so it's but it's like you love them or
that
hate
was
them.
an era. Sorry to go pop culture here for a second, but that was
fun.
That was probably one of my favorite eras of roofing. I just felt like that was a moment that just never, I don't know when we're going to ever get something that brought everyone together as much as watching those two fight.
Dude, it was so cool. I mean, I feel like they should do a round 2 or I don't know. There should be like a sequel to that. Maybe 2 other people. I don't know. But, but I love it. But like with them guys, you know, they're very educational. They're knowledgeable, and you know, you either love them or you hate them, but you know what they do at the end of the day. And they've both done a great job of marketing themselves. And, you know, I think that's the biggest thing is a lot of people don't put enough effort into marketing themselves and putting it out there enough. They just think that I market. And then the other big thing, especially with posting, if we're talking about on Facebook that I see people do, they post on their business page. And one of the key things I tell people is like, why are you going to follow this random roofing company if you don't have any, you know, acquaintances that work there? You don't know the person, you don't follow the person. You know, why am I going to follow the Hook agency if you've never done work for me or I don't know you personally? Like now, if I follow you, I like you. I'm like, man, I like what Tim represents. I like his beliefs. I see him hanging out with his family. Like I'm, you know, watching all these different things. Oh, that's his company. Shit, I'm gonna follow that too. So it's kind of the same thing that I tell people, like, but you got to give them a reason to follow you. They're not gonna follow the company just for the, oh, I'm gonna need a roof one day, let me follow this company along with 30 others. They're not gonna do that. So they have to get to know you and like you. And a lot of people don't put enough of their personal life out there. Not any drama or bullshit, but just put your life out there so people see entertainment. They see your fun. They see your anniversaries. I just had my anniversary and you know, my wife's birthday, and like they see that kind of, and
just
it's
some of it
real.
just to get in the feed, right? Like you don't have to just do business stuff. I think 2 reasons people don't post. There is fear.
Yep.
You can get canceled on the internet. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like and people don't want to. Well, don't do the shit that's, I mean, like there's some stuff, like I saw some crazy shit said today. Somebody just passed away, political figure, and people were saying some stupid shit on the internet.
I've already said it and I've already responded.
Don't do that. Don't do that shit, obviously. But there's fear. And then there's, I don't think it will get me business. I think there's 2 things, right? There's like, they don't have you and I both know that we post enough, people will work with us. So we do it. But a lot of people don't have that confidence that
they think they're going to
enough.
make that one post and go and like, I didn't get 5 leads from it, so it must not work or I'm not good at it. Yeah. And it's like, no, it's just it's a consistent thing. And the more you do it, the better you're going to do it. And the market's going to dictate what you like. If I have this shaker bottle here and I start to sell these and they don't sell as good and I come out with a different version that sells better, well, then I know, all right, well, this other one with the different top sells better than this. The market's going to dictate what you put out and what you, whether it's funny related stuff, whether it's the memes, whether it's, you know, whatever it may be. But like, you have to start figuring out what kind of posts are getting more engagement and interaction and laughs and likes and things of that nature. And then just be real with people too and get them to like you. And I think that's where a lot of people don't do it. They post, like you said, one and done. And it's, you could relate it to door knocking. Like I could go to one door and somebody might answer, might not. If they do answer, they might tell me, hey, no soliciting, get out of here, screw off, you know, whatever. Like, I can't just stop. Like I have to keep going until I get that sale, at least one sale today, if I want to reach my goals.
Love that. Let's, I just want to wrap that topic up because let's get on to the next one. Big things to scaling. But the last bit I have to say on that is not just posting and ghosting. That's what I call it. When people get on the internet, they post, they thinking it's also connecting with more people. People in your customer that could be customers, right? Connecting more all the time. Like you send friend requests, I bet. You know, like you connect with people, You talk to people, you comment on other people's stuff. You don't act like you're just out there with a megaphone on the street. That's not how it is anymore. It's got to be relationships, really.
And in all honesty, one more thing on that topic. In all honesty, like, and I actually just did this earlier, a lot of people will look at Facebook for a business before they look at the website or anything else. Like, I legit went, there's me and my mom were talking just earlier about planting some fruit trees at my farm.
Yeah.
And there's a place right down the street. I didn't know the name of it, and I found it, went to the website, and I was like, what am I doing on the website? And I clicked on the Facebook link, and then I could see the pictures. Like, I wanted to scroll through and see their engagement on Facebook. I completely left the website. But if they hadn't been active, I might think, are they even open? Like, is this place
still? This is real. I call this I coined a term for this the other day that I think is good. It's the digital double check. Because some people think no one's finding us on the internet. But even if you're door knocking, people are going to your Facebook, people are going to your website, like they're going to your reviews. Really, they're going to your reviews and social. And like, you're right, if it looks like a ghost town, this company might not be like modern or legit. People just have to make guesses on how good the service is by how it looks a little bit.
Correct, 100%. And that, we're not in an era anymore where, you still got some people that look at like the Better Business Bureau, and I definitely recommend having your company with the BBB and being certified and all that kind of stuff. But we're in a day and age where everybody looks at social media. Like, you get a break, you get a lunch break, you wake up in the morning, you're eating breakfast before you go to bed. Everybody's just scrolling. Ray would call it the digital door knock. That's what he called it.
Yeah.
Because Ray, and I'm not picking on him, he'll say it himself, he hated to knock doors. Absolutely fucking hated it. And he knocked one door ever in his life, a little black lady named Mary. I can take you to her house right now. We got the roof approved, signed, everything. And
shout out, Mary.
But he didn't like it. So when we were going through training together, and I would be going to my appointments, and he'd be shadowing me on those appointments, he'd be over there in the passenger seat and literally messaging every single person on his friends list, getting them to follow him and asking them if they were interested in a roof inspection. And that's how he started door knocking. And he called that his digital door knock. And you see where he's at now. And he fucking killed it because of it. So it's like, he knew his skill set. He wasn't as comfortable at the door. That just wasn't his thing. And it's because he has dyslexia. But so he wasn't.
Dude, it's crazy that he didn't like it because he's a beast. He's a hard worker. It's just, I can understand how that's just not for some people.
He will outwork anybody.
Yeah, that's interesting.
To the point where sometimes you got to be like, Ray, calm down, take a vacation, bro. It'd be like, I can't. The company's gonna go under if I leave. And I'm like, I got it. Go have fun somewhere.
Once you get to know us, there's no reason to buy from anybody else. What we do differently is we do stake in the factory. You're truly buying direct. We don't sell to distribution. We sell to roofers, the people that have been getting hurt for years. You keep getting price increases from suppliers. We do price decreases. We've had about 4 price decreases this year. VanBoxwellBuilding.com. We have a new website, the Amazon type platform. You go right on there, click it, put it in your cart. We can send it to you, or feel free to give us a call. We'll answer any questions for you.
Maybe one more kind of big unlock to growing fast.
I think discipline and on top of discipline is standards. And so one, like, we were very, I don't want to say picky, but the people we brought on, we wanted them to match our core values, as should any company. And then, at the same time, they were all like, not gonna lie, like, we all have, me and Ray obviously have a past, and we're both open about it. And a lot of it we do, not because we're proud of it, but because we want to show people that doesn't matter where you come from, you can do whatever you want in life. And, so we had to turn our lives around and work our asses off to get to where we got. And because of that, and this being a second chance industry, so to speak, we had a lot of people that came in, and we taught them a trade, and they were super appreciative and loyal because of that. And they would never go anywhere else, and wouldn't go into any other industry because they learned something where they can make multiple 6 figures that they couldn't go get a job, probably even at Chick-fil-A or Starbucks, because of their record. And we were able to teach them something. And, but with that, obviously I say that because 99% of the people that we had were sober. We didn't have any party animals. If we did, we'd have people that are like my wife that would, maybe once a month at dinner has, one drink with it. You know what I mean? Like, but we didn't have anybody going out and partying every weekend, doing crazy shit, getting wild. Everybody was very fitness based, which I think is huge. One, it makes you more respectable when you walk into a room, you command attention, but two, it also creates that discipline. And I think what's so important about discipline is, a lot of people talk about the difference between motivation and discipline, and motivation's there for a period of time and kind of get you going, but discipline is the thing that keeps you going. And I agree with that, but the difference is the standard that we had alongside that discipline. So there's a lot of people that go to the gym, for example, and I'll just use this as an analogy. There's a lot of people that go to the gym and go through the motions on the machines, or do their 20, 30 minutes on the treadmill, but at a slow ass pace. They're not pushing it. When I go to the gym, when Ray goes and rides his bike, like, we're not just going there to like break a little sweat or go through the motions. We have a standard, and we want to be the best version of ourselves and push it to the limit every single day. And so, that standard that you carry, I think, is huge. And me and him both, and it went down to everybody else, to where we wanted to be the best version of ourselves in every single way, from family to fitness to faith to everything. So, and I think that's huge, because people see that. And, I did competitive bodybuilding for 20 years, and I'm retired now, which is why I'm so small. But I meal prep. I had guys that had known me that were the company that had known me for 20 years and never saw me eat out of anything other than a Tupperware container. And because of that, I would slowly, over a period of time, and I didn't tell anybody to do this, I didn't ask anybody to do this, but over a period of time, people would start bringing their own meals to work, and they would be heating them up in the microwave, or they'd be driving around, stopping by QT, heating them up, eating their food. And that was just with meal prepping. Then they were working out. So that's just an example with fitness, but the same thing carries over into how you carry yourself, how you treat others, what numbers you want to hit in sales, you're posting on social media. Like, it reflects across the board. And so everybody tended to act like an owner of the company. They were super proud to be a part of it. They had very, very stern discipline and standards as well. And they pushed themselves to the limit, and they were never content. That was the biggest thing. Like, everybody was always happy, but never content with it. It didn't matter what they sold. They sell 4 million this year. They want to hit 5 next year. So,
well, we kind of got into the next topic too, which is around the personal habits side. I would love to talk about a few more personal habits. If you don't mind, bring me back, because I just think a lot of the people are going to be in that earlier $2, $3, $5 million phase of personal habits that set you apart to allow you to get to where you got, essentially.
So, like I said, I think the fitness is a big part of that. And the other thing is, no matter, like, you have to put the work in no matter what. And I'm going to take this a couple different ways, but like, when I started Perimeter, I had left another company where I was a partner and I owned, and there was some stuff going on while I took a vacation, and we had owned the company for probably 4 years. And when I came back from my first vacation that I took, there were some things that going on that I didn't want to be associated with. This was right before my daughter was born, who's 8 now. And so I simply said, you know what? I don't want to be a part of this. I'm going to leave. You can have my 50%. You don't have to buy me out. Just, sign me off of all past, present, and future debt and liabilities. And so I left, and Ray came with me, and another guy named Shannon Wilkerson came with me, who's still there to this day. We immediately went, got business cards. I opened up a new company, and obviously, eventually down the road, I made Ray a partner, along with another guy that ran our production. And the work ethic that we put in, there were days where we would be out inspecting, and this sounds crazy, but there would be days we were out inspecting roofs with a flashlight so early in the morning because it was before people had to go to work. And then we'd be going nonstop. Me and Ray would be in a truck together and go to Greenville and do some adjuster meetings, be back here in Georgia the same day, and work all day long doing and I'm driving down the road, which I'll get into that in a minute, driving down the road doing, filling out order forms and things of that nature too, while we're going from appointment to appointment. And then when we got home, this was kind of when I took some time off from bodybuilding, but still wanted to stay active. So I was riding bikes with Ray, and we'd go ride 20 miles, in which bike riding is not my cup of tea by any means, but we'd go ride 20 miles every single night. Even if we got home at 8 o'clock, it didn't matter. We went and rode bikes. So whatever you have on your calendar, and that's something that I tell people too, whatever you have on your calendar, stick to it. Like, live by a calendar. My date night on a calendar. This meeting was on a calendar. I told you we had to schedule it later on in this podcast later on in the day because my wife had a tattoo. That was on the calendar. Like, everything that we do in life is on the calendar. If the kids have something on the calendar. And I think that's very important to keep you structured so nothing runs over. You don't get tied up. If something does run along, you stop it and you go, I got to get to this other thing, or else I'm never going to get to this, and it can't be pushed to the side. So I think that's important. The other thing that I think is super important for these guys starting out or at a smaller scale is, which helped me tremendously, is doing everything in the company. So like when I started out, I was 100%, even when I had some sales guys, I was doing everything. I was having to do the payroll. Like I said, I was driving down the street with Ray, and Ray would be giving me directions, and I'm looking at a scope on my, illegal as fuck, but I'd be looking at a scope on my phone and filling out.
We all did it.
This is before we had anything digital too.
Yeah.
So I'd be filling out an order form, taking a picture of it, sending it to the supply house, sending it to the crew, and doing all this, going to inspections, going to adjuster meetings. And then when I got home, I would after we rode bikes, I would have to do all the COCs and all my emails back and forth with adjusters. So I did every single aspect of the company, and then eventually brought people on as we were growing to take away some of my pain points first and to give me more free time. But I think that's important because there's not a lot of these guys get, their LLC, and then it's just like, I'm the boss. One of the biggest things that me and Ray always pushed was, we're not the boss. Like, we're partners with you guys. You would never hear either of us say that, Tim works for us. It was always, me and Tim work together. Like, it's an honor to work with Tim every day. That's just how we treated everybody. And I think that's super important. Especially in Georgia, where, anybody can just go open up their own fucking company. But
that probably gets frustrating a little bit for everybody. I mean,
100%, and we put things in play to make sure that people were happy and could grow with the company, and there was never a limit of how far they could grow, and different bonus structure and things of that nature to make sure that they could continue to scale and we could layer the company, which I think is another thing that's super important. A lot of owners don't want to layer the company or spend more money, but it's like, if you want to take things to a certain level, then you have to have people help you. You can't do everything on your own. And a lot of people don't want to give up responsibilities or roles simply because of the fact that they like the power. But you have to bring on people that are smarter than you. You got to know your strengths and have that self-awareness. Bring on the people that are smarter than you in those areas. Give them that job duty and let them do their fucking thing, because they're better at you. Just because you have the LLC and you own the company doesn't mean that you're smarter than that person in that specific thing.
Yo, I don't want to put something in your mouth. I don't know why I said it that way. I was about to say the why do roofing business coaches suck line, but I don't want. Do you think that there's something missing in the roofing business culture at the moment?
Yeah, 100%.
Let me ask that again, just for you can keep it in the podcast, but I need a clean edit of this question for the real. Why do roofing business coaches suck?
I think for a couple, I'm going to call a lot of people out here, not by name, but it is what it is. I think a lot of the thing is, like, you have a lot of people that want to showboat, and there's a lot of people, and I look at it just like social media. Like they have this social media life, and then they have a real life, right? And like uh, the social media life looks, all glamorous. It's a fucking highlight reel of their if it's even a highlight reel of their real life. It could be all fucking made up. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think it's the same thing with the coaching industry, like and speaking as well. Like when I go on stage to speak or when I do coaching, I think a lot of people do it just for the money. And don't get me wrong, like if you're going to coach people, you should be paid for your time 100%. Because it took me a long time to learn the things that I've learned. But I truly care about each and every one of my clients, and they know that, and they know that they can call me anytime, that I'm there to help them anytime, or text me anytime. And they also know that I don't share information from one company to the next. They also know that I treat every single company very seriously, just like it's my own company. And I give them the advice of what I would do in every single situation, and make sure that they're weighing out all the options and all the different scenarios and the pros and cons, related with every scenario. And I don't think there's a lot of people that do that. I'm not saying that I'm special or that there's nobody that does that, but I don't think there's a lot of people that do that. And you could look up to fucking larger names like Wes Watson, who, I've done work with in the past, and he ended up being a fucking shit bag. Or you got Andy Elliott, who puts a lot of shit out there that, it's just like, dude, what if you were a con artist and you never even really owned a company? You just started coaching people and trying to hold people accountable, which is great, and telling people to take their shirts off and belittle them. And you don't even fucking work out legs. It is what it is. I don't care. So,
Flip that.
That
one's going. That one. Trying to collab with him on IG with that one. No, I'm just kidding.
He just messaged me the other day because he saw another comment I made. But
funny. Well, dude, that's cool. That's cool that you're even in those combos, bro. Though I mean, like these guys are getting around, and there's just a bad rap right now for like roofing coaches, or like they call them gurus, right? And like,
yeah, and I think
you could say, yeah.
I think it's any field, to be honest with you, because like you look at those guys, and then I also, like Ryan Stewman is one of my best friends, and he has more integrity than probably anybody I've ever met. Like everything he said. Now, I have a lot of people. I had somebody ask me about him actually in the roofing industry last night, asked me about him because they had heard mixed reviews. And it's the same thing like you hear about me, like Todd's an asshole, fuck Todd, whatever. Yeah. But you're gonna.
I've never heard that once, by the way, so I must not get around enough. I haven't.
Well, trust me, there's a lot of people that don't like me, or for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't care. But when you become successful, you got people, and we can go back to the Dimitri and Lee hate thing. Like Dimitri's fucking killing it. He's all over the place, and I know there's people that don't like him and that like him, and it's like. To me, it's irrelevant. Like I think he puts out, good information. I think he does a lot of, like calls out a lot of people. Like some of the stuff, I'm like, I don't know if I'd put that out there, but he does it. But either way, he's got people that like him or don't like him, and he don't care. He's going to keep putting it out there, and I think that's the way it should be. But he cares about what he does, and I think that's the important thing. A lot of people, I don't think, care about what they do. No matter what industry it's in, even if it's not roofing, if it's, whatever other industry, you have these quote unquote gurus, and one, they want to make the money, but two, I feel like a lot of people, even when it comes to like speaking events and like, like RoofCon or fucking any of these roofing events that you have, like you get these people that are on stage. And I feel like 99% of them, not all of them, but they want to be, and I'm going to get backlash for this too, but I don't give a fuck. But I feel like a lot of them just want to be on stage to look like a celebrity instead of actually pouring out information or like real insight into people that can benefit people. And I think that's the most important thing. Like, I don't care about I got sweatpants and a t-shirt on right now. And this is the same kind of shit I would wear on stage. I'm not trying to be fancy or a celebrity or anything. I just want to help people. Because I know the shit that me and Ray dealt with. I know the shit that I dealt with before with my other company, and the fines I got from doing stuff wrong, or the, different issues, or the lawsuits, or whatever random shit that you come across, because they don't teach the shit in school. And
I think this is a really good time for me to announce that I will be keynoting at RoofCon. I just want everyone to know about
there you
that.
go.
You I'll borrow your celebrity for a second. People are gonna watch this one because you're fucking badass. And I just think it's a funny time to just announce. I will be keynoting RoofCon. I'm super excited about it, mainly for the clout, but then just a little bit of my heart. I want to help people too.
But that's to my point. I feel like a lot of people, but you're strictly keynoting. You're not charging people money.
Oh yeah.
Or for coaching and fucking
yeah.
their money. Like I've got clients that people have been charged, $20,000 for X amount of sessions, and then the person ran off with their money, or like never missed all the meetings, or whatever. And it's just like I can't do that to anybody. I don't have that. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. One, and two, like your name and reputation. I'll be November 1st will be 15 years sober for me, and I used to be a complete garbage.
Congratulations, man. Fuck yeah, dude. I'm just hit 15 too, by the way.
That's awesome. So I was a complete fucking dirtbag piece of shit. And it's like, I've spent the last 15 years trying to build this new me, this good reputation, let everybody know that I have integrity, that I take care of people, that I love people. I want the best for everybody. And I would never do anything that would tarnish my name or my integrity or anything like that. Like, especially by one or two clients or trying to screw somebody over on, like, it doesn't make sense. It's not like you just took fucking $20 million from somebody and you're good to go off to the fucking Bahamas and live your life. Like it's a couple $1,000s. Like it's not life-changing money. Just the whole point of doing it is to be able to help those people scale faster and miss the headaches and the speed bumps and the hurdles and all the different roadblocks and everything that we came across when we were getting it. Same thing with your business. I'm sure you came across different hurdles and getting on this podcast. Like just that alone was like, dude, what the fuck's going on with this?
we had a tech.
You know what I mean? Like, so we had to think outside the box and we figured it out. But if I can save people that time and the money and the headache, like that's what I want to do. And I think that also helps them scale faster. And, I've got one client that did 8 million last year. We started working together this year and they'll do 24 this year. I got another one we've been with for 2 years. They did 3 million, then started working with me and they'll do, right at 24, 25 this year too, after 2 years. So, and then I have the group coaching too, and like seeing the numbers of people, and it's just because they're putting stuff into play. And I have some clients too that they listen to the things and they just don't even put it into play. And I'm like, well, and I fired some of them. And you gotta, no matter what I teach you or anybody teaches you, no matter who it is, you have to put the things into play and make shit happen.
My computer is about to die and I got to go pick up my kid. So I got to wrap this up, even though I like talking to you, Todd. I want to do this again, maybe in person at one of these conferences. If you make any of the conferences later this year, I'm going to tell.
Will you be at RoofCon?
Yeah, I'm going to be at RoofCon.
You're like the keynote, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm keynoting. I'm going to talk about how I went from psych ward and homeless to 45 people. And how to get the word out about your shit. So I'm grateful to be sober too, bro.
Congratulations.
Last question, rapid fire before we wrap up, and you give us the .com. Sell or keep your company right now. What should you scale it to at this point? Like I know I know you're gonna help people do this better too, but like give me a little quick synopsis on when and how to sell versus keep.
So if anybody wants to sell it, let me know. And I have brokers / investment bankers that will help them with private equity deals. But the biggest thing is, and I do think now is the time, or the sooner the better, which was one of the reasons that I did, because, we didn't know what insurance was going to do, what things are changing. And, but I think the biggest thing is where your business is at and what you want out of it. Do you want to make some millions and go do something else? Are you looking to retire? Like, do you need that? So based off of what you want out of it and the size that you're at is kind of dependent, because if you're doing 5 million a year revenue and your EBITDA is, let's just call it 1.5 million, and you think you're going to retire off that money, you're probably not. Now, if you're older, you probably could. If you're 70 years old, fuck it. Yeah, you retire off of that money because you'll probably get a 5 times multiple on your EBITDA. So if it's, 1.5 million, you're getting what, 7.5 million. You retire off that. But if you're 30 years old, you still got a long life ahead of you. And also depending on the lifestyle that you live. So you got to think about, there's a lot of variables that go into it. But I think the faster you can grow with the least amount of risks possible and doing everything right and set everything up correctly and have integrity, always do right by others, I think is one of the biggest things. And that's what me and Ray always did. We never did anybody wrong. We never kept money from anybody. Even when people did us wrong, we always did the right thing. And just keep hustling. And, if you're at a point where you want to sell and walk away, then fucking do it. And if anybody's interested, they can reach out to me. I'll help anybody however I can, man. I love helping people.
I'm sorry. Feels a little abrupt here at the end of the podcast for people watching. Comment below about if there's anything you have other questions with Todd. I'm sure Todd will be in the comments and able to comment back. He's coaching people right now. Where can people check you out?
So they can message me on Facebook, Todd Price, or Instagram is @official Todd Price. Or they can go to my website, officialtoddprice.com.
Amazing. And the podcast is put on by hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social media. And we appreciate you guys for watching, listening, commenting, etc. See you guys.
They're so thorough with every detail of the website. Working with Hook, the design is probably 50x better than any other design I've ever had. Their team is super communicative, and I mean this genuinely. I'm happy to pay you guys to work with us. It's been a tremendous experience.